At age 75, something shifts. The world slows down, but the risks speed up. And yet, is what truly ends lives after this age is not what most people think. It's not always cancer. It's not just heart attacks. It's not even the things you hear on the news. No, it's what doctors whisper about in hospital hallways. It's what families notice too late. It's the little things that turn into life-threatening events. I've seen it myself, with neighbors, friends, even family. So, today, I want to walk you through the 5 real causes of death after 75 that rarely make headlines, but are responsible for millions of avoidable tragedies, and more importantly, how you can protect yourself or someone you love, because this stage of life. It can be rich, clear-minded, mobile, and full of meaning, but only if we know what to watch for. So grab a notebook, or just listen closely. This may be one of the most important conversations you ever have. Now let's begin with the most underestimated threat of all of ye. Falls that don't seem serious. It was just a small fall, until 3 weeks later he couldn't get up again. Gentle, story-driven tone. It usually starts with something simple. A slipper catches on the edge of a rug, a bathroom floor is just a little too wet, or someone stands up too quickly, and the world tilts. He said he just lost his balance, Martha told me. Her father, 82, brushed it off. He didn't even want to go to the doctor. 3 weeks later, he was in the hospital with pneumonia, a fractured hip, and a body that just gave up. What most people don't know is this: falls are the number 1 cause of injury-related death in people over 75. Not heart attacks, not strokes, falls. Let's break it down medically. As we age, something called sarcopenia begins to steal muscle from our bodies. Tiny, stabilizing muscles, the ones that keep us upright when we trip or shift quickly, shrink or vanish entirely. Reflexes slow. Bones thin. Vision fades. Even medications for blood pressure, sleep, or anxiety can cause dizziness or poor balance. Now imagine this. A slight trip that wouldn't affect a 40-year-old can, in a 78-year-old, result in a broken hip, internal bleeding, or a traumatic brain injury. And even if the fall isn't fatal, it can trigger a cascade of complications: infections, immobility, depression, and even death from inactivity. But here's the catch. Most of these falls don't look dramatic. They happen at home, often unwitnessed, and they're dismissed with phrases like, "I'm fine. I just stumbled a bit." No need to fuss. So what can we do right now to prevent them? Remove rugs, even small ones, even the ones that have been there for years. Install grab bars in showers, by toilets, and along stairs. Add more light. Vision declines with age. Poor lighting is a major factor in nighttime falls. Have medications reviewed by a geriatric doctor or pharmacist, especially those causing dizziness or confusion. Strengthen the legs and core. Chair yoga, water aerobics, and even simple sit-to-stand movements each day can rebuild the body's balance system. Bonus tip: footwear matters. Supportive shoes with non-slip soles, worn indoors, can reduce fall risk dramatically. Here's the truth. Most fatal falls are not from ladders or mountains. They're from the bedroom to the bathroom, from standing up too quickly, from ignoring that little voice that says, "Be careful." Because after 75, the body doesn't recover the way it used to. A fall doesn't end with a bruise. It can end a chapter of independence or even life itself. But what if the real danger isn't falling down, but your heart slowly giving up without a sound? 2. Silent heart failure. The heart doesn't scream, it just slows, until one day it stops. Measured, intimate tone. David was 79, a retired electrician. Quiet, kind, always independent. He didn't complain, even when he started napping more, skipping walks, or eating less. "He's just getting older," his wife would say, slowing down. But what no one realized was this: David wasn't just slowing down. His heart was failing, and silently, steadily, and fatally. Medically, this is called congestive heart failure. And after age 75, it's one of the most common and most underdiagnosed causes of death. It doesn't arrive like a heart attack. It doesn't cause a scene. Instead, the heart gradually loses its ability to pump blood efficiently. The body, your organs, muscles and brain, don't get the oxygen they need. You feel tired, heavy, foggy. Your ankles swell. You wake up short of breath. You stop doing things you used to love. And slowly, invisibly, your world shrinks. And here's the cruel twist. Many doctors, and even families, mistake these symptoms for normal aging. Of course he's tired. He's 80. She's just not as active anymore. Old people swell up. It's nothing. But it is something. It's the heart saying, I'm struggling. And if you catch it early, there's a lot that can be done. So what should you look for? If you or a loved one is over 75, pay close attention to these signs, especially if they've gotten worse over a few weeks or months. Shortness of breath, especially when lying down. Fatigue after simple activities, like dressing or walking across the room, swelling in the legs, ankles or belly, sudden weight gain from fluid retention, coughing or wheezing, especially at night, loss of appetite or confusion from poor circulation to the brain. Don't wait. Ask your doctor for an echocardiogram, an ultrasound of the heart. It's painless and it could save your life. Treatments today are better than ever. Diuretics to reduce fluid, medications that strengthen the heart. Low-sodium diets and guided exercise plans, even simple walking can improve cardiac function if started early and safely. But the most powerful tool? Awareness, because when heart failure is silent, silence can be deadly. David's story ended in the ICU, but it didn't have to. If just one person had noticed his socks were getting tighter, if someone had asked why he stopped going to the garden, maybe he'd still be here. And yet, there's a danger even more sudden than heart failure, a threat that creeps in through the simplest illnesses: pneumonia, a bladder infection, a sore throat. 3. Infections the body. Can't fight anymore. It was just a cough. By the end of the week, she was gone. Gentle, sobering tone. It's a story doctors hear too often. A slight fever, a mild urinary tract infection, a little cough that lingers. She didn't even seem that sick, the daughter says, voice breaking. And then, everything happened so fast. Here's the medical truth. After age 75, the immune system isn't what it used to be. It's called immunosenescence, the natural weakening of immune defenses with age. White blood cells don't respond as quickly. Inflammation stays in the body longer, and tiny infections that once would have passed with rest and fluids now have the power to kill. Let's be clear: pneumonia, urinary tract infections, even a skin infection from a small cut. These are among the top causes of death in the elderly, not because they're rare, but because they're ignored until it's too late. Here's what makes it worse. Older adults don't show infections the way younger people do. You might not see a high fever. You might not hear them complain of pain. Instead, you might notice something subtle and frightening: confusion or disorientation, refusing to eat. Suddenly, sleeping all day, a drop in blood pressure, difficulty walking or standing. Let me tell you about Maria. She was 84, sharp as ever, living independently. One Monday, she seemed tired. Tuesday, she was sleeping more. By Wednesday, she didn't recognize her grandson. They thought it was dementia setting in. It was a urinary tract infection that had turned septic. Maria passed away on Friday. So how do we fight back? How do we protect ourselves and our loved ones from these silent killers? Stay hydrated. The elderly often drink less, which weakens the immune system and invites infections, especially in the urinary tract. Watch for sudden confusion or changes in behavior. This is often the first and only sign of infection in older adults. Vaccinate. Pneumonia, shingles, and flu vaccines can prevent many of the deadliest infections in seniors. Don't ignore small wounds. Clean cuts carefully. Watch for redness, swelling, or warmth, signs of dangerous skin infections. Ask about preventative care, regular urine checks, chest x-rays if coughing persists, and follow-up blood tests can reveal infections early. And most of all, trust your instincts. If something feels off, don't wait. The difference between life and death after 75 often comes down to hours, not days. You won't always see the fever. You won't always hear them say, "I feel sick," But if you pay attention to the signs, you might catch the storm before it arrives. And while infections may strike, from the outside, there's another threat that builds from within. It starts at the dinner table. It looks like just not being hungry anymore, but in reality, it's the body shutting down one bite at a time. 4. Undernutrition, disguised as loss of appetite. He just wasn't hungry anymore, but his body was starving. Compassionate, reflective tone. At first, no one was worried. Frank, 81, had always been a light eater, but then he started skipping breakfast, pushing away dinner. Maybe it's just the heat, his daughter thought. Maybe it's depression, said the doctor. What no one realized was this. Frank wasn't just eating less, he was slowly starving, from the inside out. Let's talk science. As we age, appetite naturally decreases, metabolism slows, the sense of taste dulls. Medications can cause nausea or dry mouth. Chewing becomes harder. Cooking feels like a chore. But after 75, this isn't just a lifestyle issue, it's a medical emergency. Waiting to happen. Undernutrition affects up to 1 in 3 older adults, and the effects are devastating. When the body isn't getting enough protein, calories, or micronutrients, muscles waste away. The immune system crashes, bones become brittle, wounds stop healing, the brain fogs over, and the risk of death from even minor illnesses skyrockets. And yet, undernutrition often goes completely unnoticed. Why? Because it doesn't look like dramatic weight loss. Sometimes it's hidden behind swelling, or it's dismissed as just getting older. Or the person insists, "I'm just not hungry." I remember Rosa, 85, who used to cook for the whole family. One day she just stopped eating meals. She said nothing tasted good anymore. No one pushed her. 6 months later, she had lost 15 pounds and most of her strength. So how can you spot him and stop this hidden danger? Watch for signs of shrinking clothes, loose skin, or difficulty getting up from chairs. Track weight discreetly. Even small drops matter. 5% loss in 6 months is dangerous. Encourage small, high-protein meals instead of large plates that feel overwhelming. Use supplements wisely. Protein shakes, soft-boiled eggs, or nutrient-rich soups can be life-saving. Check medications for appetite-suppressing side effects. Ask about alternatives. Make meals social. Loneliness is a major cause of lost appetite in seniors, and here's a powerful truth. Even a little nutrition can make a big difference. 1 extra serving of yogurt, a few bites of scrambled eggs, warm bowl of soup shared with someone they love. These aren't just meals, they're moments of healing. You can't force someone to eat, but you can listen, encourage, and make eating feel safe and meaningful again. Because after 75, food isn't just about hunger, it's about survival. But what if the real danger isn't in the body, but in the brain? What if forgetting a name leads to forgetting a pill, or taking the wrong dose and ending up in the ER? Coming up next, how dementia quietly kills, and what you must do before it's too late. Ready for Chapter 5. Dementia. And the danger of small mistakes. Você diz OK ao ChatGPT disse, here is the full narration script for 5. Dementia and the danger of small mistakes. She didn't forget everything, just enough to put herself in danger. Steady, intimate tone. Henry was 83. He remembered his wedding day, his first job, his favorite songs from the 50s. But last month he forgot if he had taken his heart medication, so he took it again. The next morning, he was in the ER with dangerously low blood pressure. He wasn't senile. He wasn't gone. He was in the early stages of dementia, and no one had realized how dangerous that could be. Dementia isn't always dramatic. It often starts quietly, forgetting appointments, misplacing bills, repeating a story, mixing up medication schedules, but over time, these small mistakes can turn deadly. Taking the wrong pills, leaving the stove on, wandering outside in winter, refusing to eat because they already had lunch. And here's the truth, dementia doesn't kill with a bang, it kills. So through accumulated risks, infections from poor hygiene, falls from disorientation, overdoses from confusion, and tragically, it's often mistaken for just aging. Families shrug it off. We all get forgetful. He's just tired. She's fine most of the time. But dementia is not just forgetfulness. It's a progressive brain disease that erodes judgment, safety, and independence. And after 75, it becomes one of the leading drivers of avoidable death, especially when it's ignored. So what can you do to protect someone you love, or yourself? Notice the patterns. If forgetfulness is affecting daily life, even in small ways, it's time to talk. Create a safe environment. Lock away medications, install stove shut-off devices, label cabinets, and simplify routines. Use pill organizers and alarms. Medication errors are one of the top hospital causes in older adults with memory issues. Involve doctors early. Early diagnosis can help with planning, safety, and even treatment options. Don't hide it. Many older adults feel shame around memory loss, but support, not silence, is what saves lives. And most of all, show patience, not pity. Someone living with dementia still feels love, fear, joy, pride. But they need help navigating a world that no longer plays by the same rules. I once heard a doctor say, "It's not the memory loss that kills them, it's what they forget to do." So if you see the signs, act early, because the most dangerous part of dementia is not what they forget. It's when those around them forget to pay attention. And now, let's bring it all together. Because whether it's a fall, an infection, a hidden illness, or a memory lapse, life after 75 can still be long, rich, and deeply meaningful if we know what to look for. The 5 real killers after 75 and how to stay alive. Calm, heartfelt tone. So let's take a deep breath and look back at what we've uncovered together. Not theories, not statistics, but real-life truths that are ending lives after 75, silently, slowly, and far too often. Falls that seem minor, but break more than bones. Heart failure. That whispers instead of screaming. Infections that slip past the radar and steal life in days. Undernutrition that hides behind, "I'm just not hungry." Dementia that turns small mistakes into deadly ones. These are the real threats, the ones doctors see every day, the ones families never expect, and the ones we can often prevent. I don't say this to scare you. I say it because you deserve to know the truth, to have the power to act to help someone you love, or maybe even save yourself. So here's your checklist. Walk slowly, but walk often. Eat with purpose. Pay attention to changes, even the subtle ones. Make safety a habit, not an afterthought. And never ever assume that getting old means giving up. Getting older is not the end of the story. It's just a new chapter. And with the right care, the right mindset, and a little wisdom, it can be one of the richest, clearest, and most peaceful seasons of your life. If this video spoke to you, please share it. There is someone out there right now who needs this message, someone who doesn't know what's coming, someone who thinks that just feeling tired is nothing. Like the video, leave a comment below, tell us your experience. Share this with your children, your siblings, your friends, and if you haven't yet, subscribe to this channel for more life-saving insights and stories of wisdom after 60, because this isn't just about avoiding death, it's about choosing how you live, and you, my friend, deserve to live well.